Welcome back to my channel. This is Canadian Retro. I've got another pickups video for you here finally. It's been a very long time since I found much of anything out there. I'm pretty happy to pick up these things just because there isn't a whole lot here, but some pretty decent quality I think in here, and it's just been really rough like I was saying out there. I've been sort of missing out the last second, and just it's been pretty difficult to get some decent finds. That's not saying anything less about the things that I'm going to show you here. It's just in the past things have been a little more plentiful, so I'm hoping when the summer rolls around I'll be able to hit some of those major scores again. But right now it's a little bit slow, and I don't really have a problem with that. I've got a lot of stuff to clean and a lot of things to organize, so it's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, you know, day after day going out, hitting up thrift shops and not finding a whole lot except for a bunch of sports titles is not really encouraging. But at the same time, I know if I power through I'll be able to, you know, find those things. It's just a matter of time before my luck kind of turns around and hit some major scores here in the thrift shops. But first of all, I want to show you something actually that's not actually video game related. It is game related, and it's something that I used to play back in the day when I was, you know, I think I started around grade 8 and probably played it, I'd say, halfway through high school. So a good like 4 or 5 years, I think, of playing this kind of game. And it's hard to explain because this isn't really the game, but I used to play Dungeons and Dragons back in the day, the second edition I think it was called, that I played, and this totally relates to that time period, so I decided to pick it up. It's a series of 1991 trading cards from that time period with all like the different D&D worlds and things of that nature on here, so pretty cool. The one that I primarily focused on was the Forgotten Realms, and I used to play that with a buddy of mine and a couple buddies of mine actually. We play different, you know, campaigns around that and whatnot, so pretty fun. And my boy here, Drizzit's on the front, used to love reading those books as well, the novels, Dark Elf trilogy. If you're ever interested in reading one of those, I really highly recommend the first book in that series as being probably my favorite one of the 3, but just an amazing story that was crafted around that character, and I find it way more interesting than a lot of other characters. I think that's probably why he's so popular. But at the same time, it's a box set here of the trading cards. It seems like it's pretty good condition, everything like that. I'm not going to go through everything here, obviously, because this is a video game channel, but just thought I'd show you guys that just because it's so cool. It just reminds me of the past, something I'm going to flip through, and for $4.04, I thought, you know, a complete box set like that's not a bad deal. I don't think it goes for, you know, much more than probably like 15 or whatever, but still, not something I'm really planning on trading or selling or anything like that, just something that's kind of nostalgic to flip through sort of idea. So that's that there for $4.04. Moving on, I actually picked up a couple of games for my buddy Josh from Game Hunters R Us. This was a while back now, I can't even remember how long ago. This was probably like 3 weeks ago, but I saw a message, or a Kijiji post rather, in which somebody was selling a bunch of GameCube games, and they were all really cheap, but there wasn't really a whole lot in there that interests me. I wasn't really willing to put money into GameCube stuff, or not GameCube, rather Game Gear stuff, because it's just not a system I'm collecting for. I've been basically trying to unload, and I've for the most part unloaded all of my Game Gear stuff. I keep trying to say GameCube. All my Game Gear stuff, just because it's a system I'm never gonna play. I know it. So I basically messaged Josh and I said, look man, there's a couple of games here, there's different games here, they're all $2 each, are you interested in any of them? And he told me there's 2 games that he wanted to get his hands on, and one was the Lion King for a Game Gear, and the other one is the Majors Pro Baseball. So I'm gonna have to clean these up, but they came in these protective sleeves or whatever, so this guy obviously knows a little bit about selling or whatever, which is pretty cool. At the same time, not something I'm going to keep. I just went by and picked those up for him, so, you know, $4, and I'll probably just throw them his way when I see him next time. Moving on from there, let's see here. Oh, this was pretty interesting. In my last pickup video, I picked up 2 games. Actually, my wife picked up 2 games. She's the one that found the deal or whatever, and, you know, I ended up buying these 2 games. Is Pokemon Black and Pokemon White. And the cool part is, 2 days after that, or I think it was 2 days after that, somebody messaged her and said that they had actually found the cases. The seller actually messaged her, said they found the cases. So there's Pokemon White case right there, which is really awesome. So now that is complete, and the person didn't charge her any extra or anything like that. She just dropped by and picked them up. I guess they didn't see them there, and then they found them lying around, so they decided to, you know, team them back up. And then Pokemon Black, and everything here is like in really great shape, still like mint, so pretty awesome right there. And I'll just put this back in the case there. So now that one's complete as well. So now I ended up, you know, completing those two. That was $10 for the 2 games, so pretty sweet, I think, right there. And something that I'm not sure if I'm going to put in my collection because I'm not like a total Pokemon guy, but I'm sure I'll come buy copies of this in the future. But these are so mint, I'll probably just hold on to them. The next item I'm going to show you here actually was something that I found after a very, very long period of finding basically nothing. And I walked into a Value Village and finally found something worth buying, which was $3 for this right here, which is a PlayStation 2 15th anniversary fight pad for Street Fighter, which is really wicked. And I don't know if you've seen it yet, but when you tilt it, it has like one of those lenticular screens on it, so it you know, changes his pose or whatever, and I think flames end up around his body kind of thing. So really cool there. It's a little bit dirty and there's a few chips I think in the paint job here, but otherwise pretty decent, I think, find right there for $3. Definitely not going to leave that behind. Moving on, I walked into another Value Village. Actually, most of these finds are at Value Village recently, which hasn't been doing a great job at supplying me the stuff, but pretty happy to get these. The first one here is Wii Sports, which is always good to bundle with a system, and I do have a number of systems I'm trying to sell. But I've also been turning down systems in the wild a lot. Actually, I saw one today. They wanted $40 and it was just the console with the power supply at a Goodwill. So I've had to turn things like that down. I did find one that was just console only at a Value Village. They wanted $15 for it, and that sounds like a pretty good deal, but you know, I already have that system, and trying to just flip an incomplete system is very difficult, and piecing it together, a Wii system, is an absolute nightmare too, because it's sort of like so many pieces that go along with it. So I just left those things behind, but when it comes to selling systems that I currently have, this will help out a lot, I think, Wii Sports, because it just came with it. So pretty cool. Unfortunately, the person who originally bought this actually ripped this part off instead of cutting it, so it took part of the label with it, which is unfortunate, but it's all in there and it's complete. I've checked the disc before, it's in pretty good condition, so that's pretty sweet. And $2 for that, which is kind of a surprising change. The reason why though is, I think, is there's a bunch of different like demo discs that all have these cardboard sleeves, and they usually just slap like a $2 sticker on those ones, so I think this one sort of made it in with those other ones. So I still think for $2 that's definitely a good find right there. And then for also $2 at the same time, and this is pretty awesome. You guys probably don't dig demo discs necessarily. Some of you might be interested in them for PlayStation 1. I am to some degree for some of them, and I will pick them up once in a while if they're a good deal. This one was $2, so I thought it was a pretty good deal, but it has 2 games on it, which I really would like to get into my collection, but unfortunately they're way too far out of the price range I'm willing to pay for video games, that's for sure. But in this particular instance, these 2 games are really wicked. One of them I actually found the case for one day in a Goodwill, and almost made me cry because it was empty when I opened it up. But you know, someday it will come. So that's the thing, and hopefully this helps me along my way to filling that case and getting the other game that I'm about to show you that's on this demo disc into my collection. And the first one is Parappa the Rapper. That's the one that I found the case for, case only, so I finally have at least part of the game on this disc. And the other one is Intelligent Cube, which is another game that I am drastically trying to seek out. It's one of my favorites on the system. I never actually owned it. I rented it a few times, and obviously I played the demo that came with my brother's original PlayStation 1. But just a really fun, absolutely enjoyable puzzle game for sure. Go check it out. Actually, I'll put a link down below, because Jeff McKenzie actually has a series going on where which is called Out of the Closet, and he's taking out different games that he has stored in a closet and playing them and checking them out and see if he wants to keep them or whatever. And I think the first episode that he did, you can correct me if I'm wrong, was Intelligent Cube, so I will link to that video so you can see some gameplay of this and check out him playing that. But it's a really fun game, and right now extremely expensive. I think probably like the $60 or $70 range, sometimes even more, depending on how perfect it is and everything like that, just on eBay and local sellers are trying to get, you know, upwards of 90 bucks for it. So there's absolutely no way that, you know, I'm gonna pay those kind of prices for, you know, PS1 games and things like that. So I'm gonna wait. Hopefully I'll be able to find those things in the wild. I'm praying that this will happen, although I'm not a religious person. But anyways, like I said though, Intelligent Cube and Parappa the Parappa are both on this, you know, sample disc, so at least that can hold me over until the time comes that I can actually end up with those games in my collection. So that one there, like I said before though, $2. Pretty wicked deal, I thought. And then moving on, this was also at the same place but a different day. This was today, and I found this bag right here, which is $2, and it has these wonderful little what do you call them? Discs, not discs. Cartridges in them. Geography, which I don't want. I don't even know what this is. Let's see, Spanish spelling, which I don't want. I don't even know what to do with those things. Storyteller, which I definitely don't want. And then finally, history hints, which VTech thing, I don't know what to do with these. I'm sure there's a device that plays them. I don't even know what the one that looks like that would play those, but hopefully I can just unload those onto somebody who really would like them. Also found a PS1 memory card in the bag, which is the first thing that I spot. It's, you know, generic, so I was like, nah, I'm not really interested in generic PS1 memory cards. But the winner of the bag is this guy right here, which is the Animal Crossing GameCube memory card. Really awesome find, I think, right there for $2. You know, I'm not going to turn that down. That's really what I was after. The rest of that stuff I'm not really that interested in, but still pretty cool right there, and I'm going to add that into the collection. I think I may already have a couple of these, but still always good to have memory cards, and definitely GameCube memory cards on top of the fact that it's the Animal Crossing version of it. Now about this, I've heard that there's actually the first time you put this in, you can actually get like a gift where you can play a couple of NES games built into it. I don't know if you can do that from a used copy of this or how that works exactly, but you guys let me know if you have any experience in that. But still, for $2 it's pretty wicked. And then let's see, here's a couple more items. This I actually found yesterday. I left a GameCube behind. Like I said, I'm trying to get rid of the stuff that I have, so I'm not really buying stuff that I don't really know if I can totally sell very quickly. And I've not been having a whole ton of luck selling stuff lately, so I'm just sort of like leaving things behind even though they seem like good deals. So I saw a GameCube there and let it go for somebody else, and I actually know the guy who picked up, Marco picked it up, which is a guy that lives just down the street from me, and he goes and hits the shops or whatever, but he actually ended up picking that up, so good for him. Hopefully he gets what he's looking for it, but for me it wasn't really worth my time and effort to clean it and have it sit there or whatever, you know, might happen. So that being said, enough about that. This is what I did take away from the store that day, which was Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. Player's Choice Edition. I already have this black label in my collection, so this is totally going to be for sale or trade. And unfortunately missing a manual, which most copies of this game that I found have been missing their manuals lately. But the disc on this one's like pretty excellent shape, so I haven't actually have to check and see if mine is, but that's pretty cool right there. Nice find, I think, for $5. I'm not going to turn that down. There was another copy there of Madagascar, I think it was, so I just left that behind, but for $5, I'll pick that up all day long. And then finally, walking into a Value Village today, I guess at the same time I got that Animal Crossing card, I also found this here, which is a game for the Sega Dreamcast, which you rarely ever see in the wild. I've seen a few recently that have always been sports titles, but you're wondering then, why am I picking up a sports title, which is NHL 2K, which I already have in my collection, but the thing that I really was after was the disc that's inside, which is Mortal Kombat Gold. So I ended up, you know, picking this up in order to basically upgrade the version that I have. The one that I have came from a lot that I got a while back, and it had a gigantic Blockbuster sticker on the front of it, so now I have a copy that's nice and clean, and the disc on it, I got a little bit of smudging. I don't know if you can see it there in the light. I know it's on there somewhere anyway, but I can clean that off, and otherwise it's in pretty good shape. So that was the last find of the day. That there was $3, definitely worth it for a disc-only copy of Mortal Kombat Gold, which I can put in a case that came with the game that I got with the big Blockbuster sticker, so that's pretty nice. That's everything that I found recently. Might seem like quite a few things actually, but at the end of it, it's a lot of hunting to find those things. So That's everything that I got to show you though. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do feel free to thumbs up this video, comment down below, and I will see you all later.